Hello and welcome to the third episode of Around the World in the TBM 930 here on the Airborne Lawyer YouTube channel. We start today in Goose Bay, where the weather is still very, very cold, very snowy and pretty windy, but it's a lot better than it was when I landed here the other day, when we could hardly see anything until we got below about 800 feet. There's not much to Goose Bay. It's very much like Nuuk was. It's tiny. There's a population here of about 8,100 people according to the census of 2016, so it's even smaller than Nuuk. And the main reason for its existence is to be a Royal Canadian Air Force base. It has quite a long and illustrious history, particularly during the Cold War years. The RAF had a presence here as well. And it's also had a history sort of, I think, helping with transatlantic flights in the days when aircraft couldn't quite get across without refueling en route. So if you went across the Atlantic in a Douglas DC-4 back in the day, you might well have stopped off at Goose Bay to fill up before crossing the Atlantic. So we'll get the TBM 930 started here. We've got the generators on. We'll check the warning lights are all working, which they are. Get the sat-nav on. And let's get the engine started. Just double check that I did click that, which I did. Good. Just starting to get something spinning here.
TARS system test. Okay.
Once NG is over 13%, throttle to low idle. And we'll let the engine warm up. Whilst that's happening, I'll just get the autopilot ready. So we're going to be cruising up at 30,000 feet today. Flight director's on, yaw damper on, set the initial vertical speed setting in the flight director. And now I'm just waiting on the engine to warm up. 122.8. We're again doing this on VATSIM, so I'll set this up for Unicom. But there's not much else flying around here. I did have a look actually on VATMap, and there is a plane on its way to Goose Bay, interestingly enough, but we're probably not going to see it. It's just north of Quebec at the moment. Just let that heat up a bit more, and then bring the throttle over to flight idle. Good. Okay. Auxiliary boost pump to auto, fuel selected to auto, switch all these things on. Taxi lights on, okay, parking brake off, and we can push back and away we go. Okay, just check the flight controls, all looking good. Feather the prop twice. Little bit fiddly on my throttle quadrant, but it can be done. And I'm just also going to get us ready for takeoff actually, because we don't have a long taxi. So here we go. Get the flaps out in a moment. This is really quite tricky to taxi in. I can't see anything because it's all snow. Let's use the map. Okay. Well, we're going a short distance to runway 34 here, so I'll just do my best, I think. Cannot see the line at all. Right, where was I? Okay, and let's step off, turn on the pitot heaters, turn the de-icers on for obvious reasons. That looks promising, that looks like a taxiway. We'll turn off down here then. I had a quick look around just before setting this flight up, and I found a little bit of airport furniture strewn across runway 34, so I'm just going to taxi up a little bit further and then take off once we've got past that. Flaps out, landing lights on, all lights go on, we're now good to go. Little bit tricky to tell when we get on the runway, but I'm just using the lights for that. Yeah, here we are. Just give the inert step another blast. Yeah, so I'm just going to taxi up here a little bit further, get past this bit of detritus on the runway, and then I'll begin the takeoff roll. You can just see it coming up there, look. Okay, and then we'll centre it up on the runway and begin the takeoff roll. Here we go. Enjoy the flight. Next stop, Quebec City. Here we are then, coming into runway 24 at Quebec City. The city centre is just off to our left, and we've been flying over the suburbs for a few minutes now. This is quite nice to come into somewhere with suburbs. I haven't seen that for a while. Quebec City is a city of over 500,000 people, so somewhat bigger than Goose Bay, about 500 times bigger than Goose Bay in population size. Still very, very cold. You might have seen the flight radar weather pop up very quickly during the time lapse there. It's about -5, but a nice steady 13 knot wind here, so quite straightforward from a landing perspective. Going to be more fun though taxiing in, because I won't be able to see the taxiways again, but we'll have to just figure that out. So this is where the fun bit of the Round the World tour really gets going. We've gone Cambridge to Reykjavik, to Nuuk, to Goose Bay, and now to Quebec City. I'm sorry, we forgot Stornoway. So Cambridge to Stornoway, then Reykjavik. Lots of tiny places and lots of very nice. Lots of long transatlantic flights, which I've sped up through. From Quebec City, it's going to get a bit more interesting. After this, we're going to fly down the St. Lawrence River at quite low altitude, just taking in the sights as we go, to go and see Montreal, Ottawa, and then Toronto. So this is really what it's all about, and that again is just why the TBM is such a fun aeroplane to fly, because it can be pretty much like a small jet aeroplane up at 30,000 feet. It's quick. It's only been a two-hour flight down from Goose Bay, but then you can also fly it almost like a Cessna 172 at lower altitudes. So it's so versatile, and you can get the best of both worlds. It's now, well, it's kind of late afternoon here. It's gone 8:30 UK time. So it's kind of coming up to 4 o'clock in Quebec City, but already the light's starting to fade. Okay, here's the other runway. I'm going to take a left here, I think, and just get off the active. Looks all clear. Again, I just checked that map before landing. There's no one else flying into Quebec right now. It is fantastic how Microsoft Flight Sim 2020 has such immersive weather environments, but what one hand gives, the other takes away. I can not see the taxi guiding lines for love nor money here. I'll just use the blue lights instead, I guess. So I hope you enjoyed the flight. We are just going to taxi to a parking position just at the far end of the airport here, and then we'll be back on in a few days' time to fly down to Toronto via Montreal and Ottawa. Look out for that one, and we will see you soon.